Okay, we live and shit. Okay, okay. So did you see this video by this guy, Tyler Oliveria or whatever? He's like some kind of like pseudo right wing Hispanic guy, kind of like a Nick Fuentes, but he's trying to like pretend he's not right wing, kind of. You ever heard of this guy?
I
Uh,
don't think so. You sent me this?
yeah, I might have, but let me just show you very briefly because I think you'll see. This goes into what we were just talking about is it the J, isn't it the J? You get the idea, right? So I'm very suspicious of this shit because remember how I've been talking about Scientology a lot lately, and the reasons why of that. So let me show you this really quick, and I'm trying to also share the link for the show so people can hop in here. Let me just share the link really quick. Blah, 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 blah. I like the thumbnail for your show coming up, by the way. Looks sick. The headless Japanese one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's sick looking.
Yeah, there's a lot of Eurasian futurism in the thumbnail for sure.
I like that. Yeah, and believe me when I tell you, like I know there's a psyop behind Eurasian futurism, by the way, but I do think that like I like
Well,
it.
it's
I
not.
like it.
It's not Eurasian futurism. It's just Eurasianism. You
Oh,
know.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Right.
but if you attach the futurism to it, it almost becomes
It's a new
benign.
it's a new psyop.
Exactly.
Right. I'm all about constructing new psyops to throw away the old. And what's funny is like as we were just discussing, it is effective, which is kind of insane to me. How effective it can be, at least. And that's kind of what I think our mission is to demonstrate to people is that your participation in the LARP does not go unnoticed for good or bad. So with that being said, I shared the link. If you want to share it to your audience as well, so that way I'll be like your pre-show, you'll do the pre-show to the NPC, and then we'll go along happily, if that makes sense. Uh, Again, I'm just saying if you want to. So let me share this link with you. I mean, let me share this with you a little bit. And again, I don't want to forget why I'm showing this, so I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible because I'll forget my own point. But okay, so this is a guy named Tyler Oliveria. Can you see this? Oh, I didn't share it.
This is 8 minutes long.
Okay. So this is a guy
who developed the subject.
Weird. Okay.
And he was the founder of the subject.
So this guy infiltrates like Scientology churches and shit, and starts talking shit to the Scientologists. He tries to like harass them and say that they're like cult members and they're dangerous. And see, look, he's talking to this guy. See, remember this dude here? The SPTV, the suppressive person TV guy.
I think so. Is that like the drugs guy?
He's like this guy who's like always protesting Scientology, and he has like a whole channel dedicated to nothing.
Yeah. I do remember this guy. Yeah, he had a pretty good report on it. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks different in this picture, but usually he looks like extremely gay and stuff like that. But yeah, he looks a little more, machismo here. But the reason I show you this is like so he did this whole piece like a couple weeks ago, where he like tried to like dress like a Scientologist and sneak into their shit. And he's kind of like the weird Nick Shirley guy. You know the Nick Shirley guys? He like goes around and also that Channel 5 guy. So like they're kind of like a Stasi. So they just go around interviewing people in the street and like harassing different groups and stuff. And under the guise of journalism, right? So I'm showing this for a reason. So let me show you what this guy did recently. So he went and did this whole thing with Scientology, right? And then he went over here, and then so he went to New York, and he harassed the Hasidics, and called them like.
What clearance level do you need to have to do that? I don't know.
Right, exactly. So check this out. So listen what's being said here.
Study the Torah. I'm very proud.
How do you afford to study the Torah, though?
God help me.
Does the American taxpayer help you too?
Also, yes.
Yep. How many people out here are on like welfare in the form of like housing assistance or Section 8 or EBT, SNAP, Medicare?
Yes.
And that allows you to study the Torah?
Yes.
And raise your kids?
Yes. Yes, thank
And
you.
how many kids do most people have out here?
17, 18.
How do they afford 17, 18 kids?
They are proud to do what the Torah says, that you need to be multiple and fruitful.
Wow. And do you think there's welfare abuse in the community out here?
No.
No, because they actually have the kids.
Yes.
They have the kids. Do they get tax credits for the kids?
What they get, but they are all doing to keep our Torah. Yes.
Keep the Torah.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on people out there who can barely afford to have one kid?
If they want, they can have one. But if God's given them more, it's very proud.
Okay, shout out God.
Yes.
Okay.
One thing, we are very against the state of Israel. It's a very big problem for us.
So you guys don't approve of a state of Israel before the Messiah comes, right?
Yes. Zionism is not Judaism. It's a very other thing.
Question for you, sir. What do you do for work
Base.
out here?
Yeah, and Zev Jabotinsky, he said that these religious Jews, that they would be used to garner support for the state of Israel, but then they'd be dumped afterwards. That the real state of Israel will be for secular Jews only, right? So they'll be discriminated against within Israel. So this was the plan all along, is to use these religious people, right? So he's right on the money. All right.
Right. So it's interesting because this guy is out here harassing non-Zionist Jews living on welfare with 7 to 18 kids, saying that they're a problem for America.
Right, exactly. Right. Meanwhile, the Zionists, that run the entire country, right? It's
yeah, we'll just leave them aside, right? And here's what's interesting, right? It's almost like the classical Scientologists aren't the real problem. It's the crypto Scientologists that are the problem. And in the same way that it's not the Jews that are the problem, it's the crypto Zionists that are the problem, right? Like you were saying before, it's like when you say a deist or you say Christian, you're actually saying you're referring to a quote unquote Jew that everybody's referring to, right? So it's like this weird, diversion that's very subtle, but it's very important, So this is kind of what I was saying is it's bizarre. So I'll show you another weird example of this. Just give me 1 second. I'll play this for a second just because I need to kill time for a second, but I'll be right back.
Are you on the
Believing God that
Believing
God
God.
created that?
interview? How would he know? Do they communicate? Hi. Tyler, yes. How are you, my friend? How are you doing? Yes.
Wow.
How are you?
It's
You want to say hi?
Independent journalist.
Yes.
Lucy, you want to say hi? No.
Okay. How are you doing?
Hey, shoot, this
Do you want to tell me a little bit about this place?
Sure, we grew up here.
Okay.
It's a very nice place.
Yeah, and it's mostly Hasidic Jews,
Yes,
Okay.
it's only Hasidic Jews.
and it's
here.
one of the most biggest growing towns,
We're
right? By
growing town.
percentage.
It's the biggest in the
Big
United-
families, too.
Big families, right?
How do people afford to have such big families out here?
It's. I'm not saying anything.
What do you mean? How do they have such big families?
We believe in God that
Believe in God?
created that.
Okay. Hey, thanks for saying hi, my friend.
I don't know who you are.
My name's Tyler Oliveira.
I don't.
13. They all vote unanimously in favor for it. Look at this. There's a car accident every 5 seconds. Some of the driving out here is horrendous. It's truly terrible. What do the Jewish people here do for work, from what you've seen? Do they just pray, or?
No. So yes, they pray every single day, and then they walk every single day after this matter.
After they pray, they go to work?
Yeah, they drive in a school bus and a transit bus.
Excuse me, gentlemen. What do you guys do for work here? Do you guys have businesses, work a job? Do you guys study Torah?
I have a job.
What do you do?
I'm in sales.
Are you lying to me? Just the way you looked at him, I'm just like, what? Is it just ink? What do you do?
I'm doing sales.
What do you sell?
Food.
Why do you keep looking at him? Okay. What food do you sell?
Chocolates.
What? I feel like I'm getting bamboozled right here. I don't understand the look back.
Drunk. And the biggest good thing about that we're giving donations for other people.
Oh, that's right.
Do you know how much money goes out in this village?
I'm gonna guess millions.
Millions. And that's without being so polite, keeping open the doors. That's a thing
Some
on.
Gentile behavior.
Yeah, right. No, not Gentile.
Some goy
But
behavior.
you're not going. I can see you.
I'm going.
No, you're not going. You're a Yid. Going back, you're a Yiddish kid.
Okay.
Are you a Yid?
I'm Goyim.
Can you show me your license? Show me your license.
I know that you guys don't support Zionism, or you guys don't support the Jewish state until the Messiah is here, right?
Exactly. They are not the Jewish people. They are not us, and we are not them. They are not Jewish at all. The state of Israel is a secular state, same as Japanese, but they call themselves Jewish people. They don't obey no laws. They're taking out kids from the yeshiva, sending them to draft to army to fight Hamas, which they create the problem. If they would listen to the Torah, the whole war wouldn't be.
How do people afford to have so many kids here?
They don't afford, we help each other. We open 2 groceries called Maitiv. We're giving them 50% discount. Just giving you one example.
Yeah, I could get a discount too.
Yes, because the store is officially made for everybody.
The one thing I am curious about though is the welfare use.
Both the federal or whatever the state, they're both spending equals money for other people. The only difference is over here, the money is being spent for us and our mouth to eat, and in Bronx, it's being spent for them.
So it's just interesting. Like, this guy is like no lies detected whatsoever. The dude's speaking like pure truth, you know? And again, it's like, well, you're using welfare. And it's like, so the fuck what? I mean, it's like, we live in a socialist state. At least they're using it to like raise their kids. And it's like, if Americans were smart, why wouldn't they be helping each other do the same fucking thing, right? Like, it's just bizarre to me. And so, and again, it's like this whole thing. Like, I know it sounds hypocritical because I always say like, well, you know, well, I don't really say this, but people assume that, like, I think, like, well, black people live in Section 8 and this and that. I mean, it's not that welfare is being used. It's that welfare is being used as a weapon to break apart families because, you know, like, if you're married and you try to get welfare, they punish you for it, right? Now, if these guys have figured out how to get around that as a community, that's a good thing, I would say. You know, and, like, people should, like, take heed to that, you know, like the system's bombing other people everywhere, spending our money for bullshit, and then we're using it to raise kids. Like, I don't see how that's a problem, really.
Yeah, it seems like the Arabs over here do the same thing. You know, they'll exploit the system and the resources that the system offers in order to build up their own communities, right? And and I mean, like, those are offered to everybody. And the poor whites and the poor blacks do not take advantage of those resources
because they don't have a community and they don't make a community and shit like that, right? So
so it's just interesting,
right? And so this is kind of my point, and I think it's very bizarre. It's because it's making it like a racial thing. Like, well, whites need to hate Jews because they're using the welfare system. It's like, well, that seems kind of presumptuous, I would say. So I want to play this dude. This guy says some interesting things, and I want to break apart the philosophy that this guy's employing, if you don't mind. It's very subtle. This guy is like I think he's American living in Thailand, and I just thought it was very interesting because it's kind of related to what we're talking about. So I wanted to get your take on, like, what do you think this dude's trying to say?
So the U.S. claims that 36% of Thai immigrants are receiving welfare in America. So they've stopped issuing immigrant visas to Thais because 100,000 of them are extracting American wealth. First of all, America is the most indebted country in the world, and that has nothing to do with immigrants.
Okay, so he says that has nothing to do with immigrants.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's due to the trade deficit. Right, and the printing of the money, right? So I think most of it's probably due to that, right?
Well, yeah, but if immigration's undercutting labor in the same way that women being in the workforce is also affecting labor, right? To say it has zero impact is kind of like dishonest, I would say.
Well, that's the thing is, like, if you have people come over here and work here for less, you know, then the U.S. corporations do make more money, you know, but are they going to use that money, like, you know, to enrich Americans? Probably not. Right? They're going to use that money to enrich the corporations,
or their shareholders' interest, right? And see, this is kind of the point I was making, because I was trying to think, like, what is this guy really trying to say? and I'll just continue on. I want to because it's very like I think he's selling something to the Thais because like there's this whole like new woke class in Thailand where it's mostly a bunch of rich, like the equivalent of like rich, what do you call them? Trust fund kids, right? So like they have equivalent of that in Thailand, mostly like Thai Chinese people or people who are born into like families with a lot of wealth. And a lot of those people are kind of taking on this new, especially the higher educated class, right? And so I'm trying to figure like that's who his audience is. Obviously, his audience is obviously like these like very very Western educated Thai people, right? So I'm trying to see like what is he trying to push here, right? So okay.
In 2023, federal, state, and local governments collected over $650 billion from immigrants, accounting for nearly 20% of federal tax revenue. Also in 2023, the USDA reported that 89% of food stamp recipients were American-born citizens. The problem isn't immigrants now, nor has it ever been.
Okay, so again, it's just like factoid, and then immigrants have never been a problem then, and they never have been a problem now, or something like whatever he's saying, right? And so it's like, okay, so it's like how does the factoid prove the point he's driving home? You see what I'm saying? It's like he's supposed to be a journalist, so I'm like, okay, factoid framing, factoid framing, factoid framing, right? It's like I'm just trying to figure out like there's some sort of goal here. What is the goal? Like you're talking to people in Thailand allegedly and telling them about American policies towards immigration, and you'll see how he frames it at the end here. That's why he kind of ties it all together at the end, and so I want to see what you think of it.
Legal immigrants are not eligible for welfare until they've held a green card, also known as permanent residency, for 5 years. That process alone takes years and tens of thousands of dollars to complete. So if you are poor, you cannot get a green card, period. Undocumented immigrants are outright banned from all welfare by dozens of federal and state laws that have long existed to protect American wealth. The government says that money is intended to make America great again, with healthcare, housing, public education, and a higher quality of life for everyone who contributes. The reality is that the US government is using extraordinary amounts of public money to fund foreign wars, subsidize tech billionaires with government contracts, and increase the wealth of the country's top 1%. The Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs has sought clarity on the issue, suggesting that retaliatory visa measures may be taken. Okay, so
Okay, so like I agree with most of what he's saying, right? It's not that I disagree, like what he like the general gist of what he's getting at. It's like, okay, yes, all this is true. The two things that I don't understand is one, it's like, so corporations wanted a bunch of cheap labor for the past 100 years or 50 years or whatever it is. Now suddenly they're changing their mind, and he's telling Thai people, well, they're blaming you for taking welfare, but immigration's never been a problem. It's like, okay, so why do they allow a bunch of immigration for 50 years? And then if they're now changing their mind, and also America's like a part of all this evil stuff.
Yeah, the government isn't the one supporting tech oligarchs and waging, foreign wars. Those are the corporations that have hijacked the American government. So I just think like he's blaming it on the Americans, right? So
right. Well, that's what I was trying to say, and I even DM'd this dude kind of, and I was like, what exactly are you trying to say? Like, why are you blaming the average American who doesn't like immigration?
Right.
For this? Because it's like he's like, well, I'm not doing that, and I'm like, well, you kind of are though. It's like, what exactly are you trying to get across? Like,
well, he's blaming the government, and he doesn't see how the government has been hijacked to do all those things, like fight the fund foreign wars and tech oligarchs and stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just kind of like, it just seems like, again, it's like you're trying to make immigrants feel like they're being victimized by a system, and that the system is so evil and bad. And I'm like, hey, I agree. But then it's like, well, you need to demand your right to participate in this evil empire economy and support the system through your tax dollars. And it's like, okay, like, it's like this system's really evil and bad. It's trying to kill and suppress you, but you need to fight for your right to go and work for these giant corporations that are ruling the government, that are now using the government to go and attack and blow people up. It's like, okay, what am I missing here? It's really weird, and that's kind of the whole left wing thing right now. Is like, America's really bad and evil. Now fight for your right to bring all the people in the world into this evil empire. And it's like, okay, like, well, we want to crash it down, and it's like, well, why is it that all these major corporations are supporting you and crashing their own system that's making?
Well, that's the thing, is like they want to crash America down by making everybody Americans.
Right, like let's just
But
make
it's
the
like-
whole world America. It's like, okay,
Yeah, it's like we can't do that. Like,
well, that's
Like,
why I
you
call it Trotskyist, right? Because it's like okay, let's make the whole world first world. It's like, well, what does that mean, really? It's like you're just going to make everybody like a white man living in the suburbs or something. And so it's like you say, you always said monoculture, and I never quite got it until recently. Like between you, Pinoid, and Pill Eater, now
yeah,
I'm
it
starting
comes
to
from
understand what
plants.
you mean.
You
It
know,
comes from who? From Kant?
no, from plants. Right? If you plant the same crop, that's a monoculture. Right? So it's like if you plant a field of bananas, it'll get destroyed because nature doesn't create fields of bananas. Right? They're weak when they're all planted together like that. You know, you need bananas to be planted with strawberries, to be planted with mangoes, you know, with the mango tree, and then they all grow stronger together.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful analogy because that is
Yeah.
exactly what's happening. Because it's like, have you ever seen that movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Have you ever seen that movie?
No,
Oh my god, man! It's one of the best. I think it's
it's one of the
best.
old ones. Right.
Yeah, it's the old one. It's based in San Francisco. It has like Jeff Goldblum and Donald Sutherland and all this. It's a very beautiful film movie, but it's a very disturbing movie. It's about like these like space plants that fly from like some asteroid down to the Earth, and then they grow like these like little flowers, and these flowers like attach to people, and then grow a version of you that looks and remembers everything about you, but it's now like a part of a hive mind that's trying to like turn everyone into like pod people essentially. So it's basically just trying to expand its own. It's trying to like wear a human meat suit to disguise itself of its true intentions, right? And that's kind of what I see your monoculture is kind of like talking about in a way. It's like just make everything exactly the same, even if everybody looks different aesthetically or something like that. It's kind of yeah, I think that's a very good way to put it for sure.
Yeah, like it's also metaphor for mass production, right? Because everything comes out of the factory the same, so it's like,
yeah, that's a good point too. And I think it's weird because like a lot of people seem to conflate like your criticism of a monoculture with like hatred of people's like pseudo diversity or something like that, and it's something that I've been really bad about. But yeah, so this person, can you see this? Oh, okay, so this person is a half Asian, half white, Down syndrome lady, I guess, or something. She has 35,000 followers. This post got 200,000 likes. And she posted something else before this, and I think I'll play that after, but I wanted to show this first.
Choosing not to have kids is a trait of very highly empathetic people. They don't sugarcoat it. They don't have baby fever. They're like, I am fully aware that every action that I do with this little human will make a huge impact on them. They're fully aware of how much effort, how much time, how much money will take to sufficiently raise this little human being. And I'm going to toot my own horn for a second. I know that I would make a great parent, but I know that it would kill me. I know that I would be bending over backwards to make sure that my kid has an incredible life to the best of my ability, and it would kill me. For reference, I plan my weekends around my dog. Oh, gotta fit a walk in. Oh, gotta make sure I schedule things right. Imagine I had a child. I know that having a child would be essentially giving away my entire life. And I don't want to do that. I know that my life would no longer belong to me, which is sad, isn't it? Because the people who are thinking this through would probably make the best parents. Obviously, I'm not saying that everybody who raises a child is not thinking about these things. I'm sure they are. But I feel like people who are child free by choice, they really are thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sickness of our age, is that like bad people are really motivated and good people, they're perfectionists who don't want to participate in life. So they think that they're so good at doing something that they can't do it because it'll literally take over their whole life. Well, it should take over your whole life. Creating a human and making them an exemplary part of society. I mean, that is the greatest, most noble of tasks to devote your lifetime to. Right? So it's like if you could be doing that and are not, then there's a huge possibility that you're not living to your full potential. Or you're just lying to yourself saying like you would be this great mother, yet you don't have the ability to go and do it because you don't have the courage to go and do it. Why? Because you're walking your dog? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, she's like, I've already sacrificed my entire life for my dog, so I know that like I could do it for a child.
Right.
I just choose not to, because not that I'm a good person, but because I'm quote unquote empathetic. And again, she's equating like goodness with thinking. It's like, why is thinking to the point
Right.
of like unproductivity, or reproductivity a positive thing? See, it's like it's
Right.
just pure mental illness. In my opinion, I don't really believe in mental illness, but if I were going to claim somebody's mentally ill, I think this would be like the top tier of it. It's like,
It's demotivated. It's what like TV and all this stuff does to people, where they think like they can't have the life that people on like that are really popular on Facebook have, so they just quit. So it's like, but yeah, I think maybe mental illness may be too harsh, but I think maybe like somebody needs to put the fire to these people. They definitely don't need like dogs, and that sort of thing to like, I don't know. They don't even know if that dog wants to be there.
right. Well, one reason I don't have dogs right now is not because I don't like dogs, but because like I've raised a dog in the country and I've tried to raise them in a city. And dogs are exponentially happier animals in an environment that's like natural to them, right?
Right.
Living in an apartment locked up 14 hours a day or more, it's not good. And especially if you have to spay and neuter them to make them conform. Like, I'm extremely against spay and neutering, right? Like, I think that's cruelty to the nth degree. It's like, let me sterilize you for my convenience. It's like, okay, Margaret Sanger, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's so bizarre. Like, I could maybe see it if you're like in an extreme environment and there's something going on with, animal husbandry or something like that, maybe, right? But if you're living in a city and you have an animal as a pet as a luxury, right? Like, I think that's like, to me, it's beyond bizarre, and I think the whole pet scenario, the whole pet industry is like, I love animals, I really do, but like I love them enough to respect, like, just like she's saying, it's like, if I'm going to have a pet, I'm going to respect that animal's like sense of being a little bit more than what most people do, where it's like, I'm not going to just like walk them for 30 minutes a day and say that I've done my job. Like, I've had to do that before. It's actually very it's like torturing an animal, in my opinion. Like, if you don't have the time to love and give them affection and give them other animals an environment that's good for them, I think that's like, you're not really caring about the animal. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, like, you just need to be honest about your thing. So I want to show you this. And this is like, I have mixed feelings on this because Nick Fuentes is being extreme in this clip, but also like it's clearly he's trolling as well. And I don't want to like pretend that like I support everything Nick Fuentes says, but I just find this very performative, if that's the right word. So I just want to show you this.
Women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them. But also they have to pretend, but part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
I have 3 sons, 10 and younger, and I've had conversations with all my sons about what misogyny is, what the manosphere is, so that they can recognize it when they see it. Nick Fuentes.
Oh, this guy. What a weird dude, man. Honestly, but
so you got Nick Fuentes who's like saying some like crazy off the wall stuff. Then you have this guy. I have 3 sons. Okay, like I talk about misogyny all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe he talked to his sons about what misogyny is. That seems really just frail.
You know what he looks like? He looks exactly like Jim Carrey when he did like that gay character on like In Living Color. He's like, excuse me, the earth is hurting. He's got like a purple sweater on, you know, a purple cardigan or whatever. Fucking crazy, dude. It's like I honestly feel like this is like central CIA casting or something of like, let's just make everybody mentally ill as possible.
Yeah, and he's underreacting to what the dude is saying. Like, it's like,
right? Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this is so terrible.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like we reviewed this before, and yeah, I mean, we thought it was kind of weird. What was really strange was that Wilson was defending it. You know, so Wilson was so we were actually reviewing Wilson defending Nick Fuentes saying that stuff. And it's funny because I just played that as a replay to my show, right? So some of our commentary is there on my last show, in regard to what he's saying. And yeah, I'll have to say he doesn't seem like he appreciates a woman's touch, woman's company, right? And when he's talking like that, it seemed like something else is going on. Like it does sound kind of fetishy and like all that type of stuff. And yeah, it does verge on sort of gay, because it's like what you're saying is that you don't really, because he goes on to say that like he doesn't really like women that much. So that's part of his bit too. Right, that he's kind of like, well, I don't really like women that much, and he's actually promoting not getting married, so that seems really weak for, especially if you're a leader of a movement for young men, and you're telling people not to get married, and you want your movement to prosper, and for those people to be like in good standing, like in 10 years, unless you're like an accelerationist that's actually trying to ruin these guys' lives, you actually wouldn't tell them stuff like that. So I think Nick Fuentes is like a Fed trying to ruin people's lives, honestly, most likely.
Right. Well, and here's the thing is like you could make the I'll give Nick Fuentes more of a benefit of a doubt than someone like Andrew Wilson or any of these other people for one reason and one reason alone. One, he's young, and 2, if he's never really been in a long-term relationship, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I think that's one of those things of like, okay, maybe he's just like a super weird Catholic, pseudo, maybe gay or whatever, and he just doesn't know, and maybe he's just playing his role. Someone like Andrew Wilson, who's been married, to come out and say things like he said, again, even if I'll give a max benefit of the doubt, even if you were saying that to people in private, that's very different than going on your live stream with like tens of thousands of people going to see what you're saying and give horrible framing and advice towards women. See what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I find it inexcusable in that regard, because it's like you're basically, like you said, you're giving them advice that could totally ruin their life.
Right, you're a leader. You're a leader of a movement of young men. I can't stress that enough. I mean, this guy's a leader of a movement of young men. Does he think in 10 years those men that don't get married, they're gonna be better for his movement or worse for his movement? I mean, that's the question, isn't it? And it's obvious that they'll be worse for his movement. So what is he actually producing? or what is he trying to produce? Definitely not a serious movement of intelligent young dudes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing is like I honestly wouldn't even take it as seriously if I had not personally talked to tens of young men who like Andrew Wilson personally, and they take what he says very seriously, right? They're 18, 19 years old. They take Andrew Wilson seriously. And I honestly didn't believe that he had that many supporters. But now that I've run into them, I'm like, okay, like I actually think like, and again, this is one of the reasons, like I tell everybody, like, I'm not just hating on Andrew Wilson. I'm like, dude, like you want to say that you're not part of a movement, like you need to take your fucking role seriously. Like these people are hanging on every word that you're saying, at least more than the average person that they're listening to. So like, if you want to just be a comedian and just be a comedian, right? Like if you're trying to actually like cultivate a movement, then you got to take that shit more seriously and like drop the nonsense bullshit, And again, I'm not saying that out of hate. I'm saying that out of like, I don't want to see these kids like totally ruin their lives, And I'm sure if you had like you criticized Andrew Wilson a lot, but I'm saying like if you saw some Muslim dude up here saying the same thing, you would equally say like that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like it's not a like Christian or Muslim or commentator or non-commentator. It's like, dude, if you're up there like telling men like, destroy your lives essentially, or have this attitude towards women that's not going to be conducive to getting married and like having kids and being a good person, whatever that means, it's like,
well, we're in the lucky spot that we just don't have influencers, right? So if you're a Muslim, there is no positive role models, right? So you just, you're just tumbleweed.
That's true. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'd say it's virtually the same on the Christian side at the moment. I mean, I'm sure there's some relative good people there, but
of course. Yeah, these clowns are not leaders.
It's
like we said, like these clowns, like, they're not leaders.
And the ones that would be a good leader, they definitely don't have a huge following. That's for sure.
Right.
Let me play. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, the most dangerous part is that they're being sold as like pseudo leaders, right? Of like non-philosophies, right? So it's like, it's literally like they're selling you a bumper sticker philosophy on a stick, plus like bad decisions, right? So it's like, and they're not going to be there for you when all the chips fall. So I don't know, right? It's like, what are these guys leading you to or leading you away from? They're actually just entertainers, right? So the problem is like there's no scholars, right? There's no like people to look to, and so yeah, so that is just really shocking.
I've soaring stateside, kissing my Swedish boy over FaceTime. Oh no, opening up a big media headline. Boots, that's my ego boost. Schedule ain't been loose for a minute. Yeah, I'm that girl I've been there.
Already, let's go.
I actually don't have a point to that other than I just wanted to play that video.
Is the mayor of St. Paul.
We've received reports of federal law enforcement officers going door to door asking people where the Asian people live, right in our very own city. I myself have received advice to carry my passport with me because that they may try to target me based on what I look like.
You could be the mayor, you could be Hmong, and this government will still presume that you are the enemy until proven otherwise.
I mean, it seems legit.
Asians.
Chinese characteristics and called me a petite, chud, bourgeois class trader. and told me to take off my uniform and
take off all of my clothes, actually. My socks, my underwear,
my shoes, my pants, my shirt, and handed my badge right there on the spot and made me walk home
like that in a blizzard. And is anyone familiar with this happening who can help me in some way?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't fully get that either. I think it's supposed to be a joke, but it's like two socialists having like an argument, and he's like, "Well, I'm pro Chinese characteristics," and kind of like pro Mao, and his handler or boss says, "Well, you need to stop because you're too Orientalist or something like that or some shit." So it's like two leftists fighting over like be pro China or not, essentially. So I don't exactly get it either, but I guess it's like because like the comments are like, "Bro, she's right, lock in."
What?
Oh, see, look, let me show you this. Look, see, they get it. Somebody posted Trotsky. Uh-oh.
Nice.
Somebody knows. Uh-oh. Somebody gets it. That's what's going on here. It's like Trotskyism versus actual national socialism, essentially. Somebody's getting it. All right, let me show you this one. Oops, shit.
We'll come hang out over here. Oh, cool. Here, wear this. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So, where are the chicks? The chicks? Yeah, like women? What is a woman? You'll get that joke later. Anyway, they hate us for the same reason they hate you. Wait, I didn't think they hated me. No, they hate you. You especially most of all, which is why you should hate them. But how will that give me a girlfriend? Oh, it won't. But as you get lonelier and lonelier, you'll go deeper into this echo chamber that tells you it's women's fault that you feel this way, increasing your irrational frustration that drives them away from you in the first place, making you even lonelier and keeping you trapped in this cycle of toxic masculinity. Wait, if the right is taking advantage of young men like that, why doesn't the left do anything? Because it's easier to just make fun of you than acknowledge that young men are also struggling in America. Oh, anyway, how's that hat fit? How are you feeling?
Yeah, it couldn't be that, they actually want traditional values, right? It's that they just want some of the Poonan, so, and the Poonans is all leftist chicks. So you have to get these washed up, pick me leftist girls, right? And you have to change your ideology in order to please them. Like what? And it makes no sense. And meanwhile, like there's a bunch of right-wing dudes who like have girlfriends and stuff. They're just made up. They're not all incels. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's really bizarre, and it's obvious that they're selling whatever. And the funny part is like the most liked comment on that video, I think, is like, who's going to tell her that the left is exactly the same or something like that, that's doing the exact, has their own cult essentially. So
right.
Well,
psycho, and the psycho beats the norm. Schizos are essentially the quote-unquote noticers. Normies just want everything to stay the same, and they don't really know what they think they know. Just digest whatever the mainstream narrative is, and then they support that to maintain a sense of safety and stability within their world. And the psychos are people who are basically constantly manipulating the normies to basically just so they can get what they want. So what we are entering right now is this phase of schizos en masse essentially waking up and attacking the psychos. Psychos are freaking out.
Are you noticing a pattern here?
Right. Well, I think we need to like figure out who this guy is who made this Hyperborean knowledge channel, because I sent you a video from this channel a long time ago, right, with the hag maxing and the lunar cult video.
Yep. And I've been following them since then, and I found at least a dozen random channels that are basically doing the same thing with a little bit of difference. And I think actually Pill Eater sent me a video from that guy too, and he's like standing there saying like, I think I've seen his face, and he's like some like washed up guy from North Carolina with long hair, who's like a pseudo intellectual guy. And I know because like I've met guys like this before. They're kind of got like the stringy long hair, you know. They're like they got a very particular like view, like look about them, and they're like, yeah, man, like I thought I was right wing, but you know I realize that's all bullshit. But like now I'm like a hardcore Hyperborean ZKL, but don't tell anybody. And you know we're all victims here, man. And I'm like, it's like weird like neo-Nazi hippie Jack Talcott slash you know
Right.
like I hate everybody, but don't tell anybody. But you know, it's just weird. It's just like a very bizarre like kind of person, you know. And there's like a shitload of channels, and this guy's like the bald version of it. You know, it's like here's a bald guy, you know,
Because their Goyim tax cattle are starting
What's
to.
this guy's name?
His name is the Bald Lion.
Bald Lion. All right.
Hyper basic structure breakdown, misspelling breakdown, by the way, using memes to explain and oversimplify the situation. Terms and knowledge fed directly from channel hype. Oh, he quotes channel Hyperborean. He misspells Borean again. Oh my god, dude, this dude is ridiculous.
It's like a retard.
Yeah, and again, like I don't blame people for misspelling. I misspell stuff all the time, but this dude literally has 4 typos in one fucking paragraph. You know, it's like the dude is reading off a script with like a fake ass background. Like, okay, I took some thumbtacks and like stuck it to the wall so my American flag can hang behind my head. It's like,
Yeah, that dude's gonna be like the next Jordan Peterson, dude. What the fuck?
clean your room. Yeah. So okay, all right. I got some more slop for you, but it's this. But I'm showing you this for a reason. Like I think you're gonna see like how many channels come out of the woodwork. This one has 214,000 likes on it. Okay. So check this out.
Supremacist by trade, and today I'm meeting up with my online hate group for the first time. I'm meeting with Roger and AJ tonight, and
Oh, this one's actually funny though. Actually, like this is actually a really good one.
I think we're gonna have cookies and get to know each other.
Oh, bro, what's up, dude?
Roger?
Raj, man.
What's up? I'm Arjun. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us over.
I've been loving your content.
You're really speaking some truth out there.
I love your stuff on stream. I've always done it.
I'm realizing that right now, actually. You guys seem like kind of Eastern. Southeast.
Southeast.
Yeah, Phoenix. Before that, where are you guys from? I don't want
Phoenix.
My country.
That's based as hell.
That's based.
That's based, dude.
Ah.
I was like, that guy's speaking for us.
The problem is that you people are taking our jobs.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, that's what
You really have signal boosted our message. I actually got an O visa to move here and do racist tweets on Twitter.
In many ways, we owe all of this to you. So thanks.
a white supremacist.
Yeah, the leftists love this story that they all got caught being like Indians, so there's only like 5 people in your movement.
Yeah, it's actually really funny. Like it's true though. It's true and it's not true. It's like, and it's funny. Like, dude, if you go and you like ask certain questions or you type certain comments on a lot of these leftist things, they immediately accuse you of being from India, and I'm like, okay.
Well,
like,
you know what it is, dude? Like there was a lot of Indian kids that were in the 90s, right? They wanted to be black guys.
so
You know
now
what I
they
mean? So
switch to like white guys all of a sudden, or
they
what?
switched because being the white guy is being the cool weird guy now, right? So it's like, you know what
Oh,
I'm
I
saying?
see. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it's like a weird like subculture, like punk rock thing, or and that's the thing is like
Yeah.
I've met a lot of Indian people, and like most Indian guys I've met like individually, they're pretty funny. Like I don't have any problem with them at all. It's like
Here's another thing: they're chronically online, so you can get them with that because they are chronically online motherfuckers. So they're just gonna hang out online. So they're probably the ones doing 90% of the posts, anyways. All right, so
right, just out of the situation, right?
yeah, just out of like sheer presence. Yeah.
Let me show you this one first, actually. Let's see if I got this one. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me show you this one first. Okay. So I want to get your impression. What do you think when you see this? This is in San Francisco in like the middle of like the white people area.
Big D's, I'm in the building. I'm cautious, still like that I live. It's kind
Yeah, I don't know, dude. That looks super gay.
Yeah, so there's like a group of guy. I mean, this has been going on for like 10 years in San Francisco, where it's like you have like these guys who are like 13 to like 35, and they just kind of like jump on dirt bikes and ATVs and like ride through the traffic, ride on sidewalks, like almost run people over.
Yeah, I hated kids who had those when I was a kid. I was like, man, these like the types of kids that had those weren't the best type of kids. They weren't quality people. Let's just put it that
Right,
way.
exactly. Well, that's kind of the argument I was having with Pinoid about it. It's like it's not like I don't like people who ride bikes, dirt bikes, and shit like that. It's that like the type of people that gravitate towards that are just kind of like shitty ass people, you know, that I wouldn't cry if Pol Pot put him against the wall and threw him in a ditch. Personally, you know, that's just a personal preference.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Speaking
you're
of Pol
ruining the
Pot,
fucking road. You're ruining the fucking road. You know, honestly. You know,
yeah,
you're
and
putting these
almost like,
fucking marks.
and there's like people with kids over there too. You know what I mean? It's like you're literally like might run over a fucking kid on a dirt bike. You know, it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, or whatever. I don't know. It's just seems gay and retarded. What's up, Builder? I know you got some report from the ground and the
Of gang stalkers. Dude, I caught one red-handed and I got the intel. I got the group chat. I got like 8 good chats. So I got some really juicy intel here. You can check this out on my X right now. But there's a group of a faction from Zoltanis where me and Zoltanis used to get along,
gosh.
but here's the thing: Zoltanis has gang stalkers on him. So the thing with me and Zolt is I used to respect him, but he's a drug addict. He hangs out with Thomas 77. He thinks he's like a meth addict punk. And
well, this
honestly,
isn't the transhumanist Zoltanis. This is like a different one, right? This is like the white nationalist guy, right?
yeah, the white nationalist Zoltanis.
Oh, okay.
His real name is Simon Simpson. Okay. I'm Joe Nally. He's Simon Simpson. He went to the military, went to Unite the Right. So we both have stories. We're both old, and we both bond over fascism and National Socialism. But he was really into Atomwaffen, Word of Nine Angles. So he was like wanted to be a part of the subculture. I was like, hey man, I like the Satanists and Process Church. This is where we divide. And so one of our more divisions is, I told Zolt, I'm an Asian Aryan. I'm for white male, Asian female. I'm not going to die for some, Malthusian, stupid. And he got upset over that. And he gave me a warning. And he's hanging out with Tom. He's hanging out with the enemies. But I did like the fact we both went to Caleb Maupin's Center of Political Innovation and stormed that. But again, the party's so way divided. And honestly, we just went your separate ways because, as a straight edge person, I'm like, hey, man, don't do drugs. Stop going to girls who cut themselves and are hookers. You're not cool. You're not bad. You're not Harlan S. Thompson. So we went our own ways. We didn't block each other. It's just, unfollow each other. So there's the fans who know about me, and I'm as old as Zolt. And Zoltanis, he is quite aware of like the punk aspects. Like he's gay himself. He likes trans. He dated a trans person. People gave crap for that. He loves trolling culture. And Zoltanis is funny. I'll give him that much. Yeah, I'm not, I'll put up, he's a funny guy. He knows how to prank. But a lot of it is based upon immature subculture stuff. And you got to have standards. You don't win arguments by writing long papers about Nazi Maoism or something. So there's a group of his fans who came from his Discord who are very close with Atomwaffen. These are the types of people that save, cheese pizza and put it on Telegram servers just so you can get swatted. One of these accounts goes by the name of Crazy Nigga 666, who calls himself a North Korean Juche Nordic. He seems to be a fan, and he invites me, and I'm in other group chats. And I'm gonna tell anyone, if anybody's in a group chat next, screen cap it. They could be talking about you. I mean it. So anyway, I'm in their group chat. I do the respect, being like, I'm Pill Eater. Here's some images. Then I put an image of a very interesting guy who calls himself the Aryan something, and he's like wearing a MAGA hat, and he's getting his dick sucked by like an Asian woman. So I decided to share it in the chat, and I get kicked from the chat, obviously, because that's degenerate. Even those guys call themselves Crazy Nigga 666 all the time. And call themselves Hitlerian 888, James Mason siege tards, right? So, it's whatever, not whatever. You could do whatever you want, but, if you respect me, I'm an open person. I'm Joe Nally. So then what happens is it turns out that Green Skull character was in the chat as well, and I have the intel on him as well. And they seem to talk about me like some old person in a house, like the Paul Zendel's The Pig Man. They're interested in me, but no one ever directs and wants to answer me questions. They just think I'm like Christian or something, or they're pretending it's Encyclopedia Dramatica from 2008. They don't know I'm a real human being with an MA from School of Visual Arts. But here they go, and the green guy would say, try to do this to offend me. And I don't block anyone on X because honestly, they're going to screen cap the blocking and use it as proof that they're too above me, like hipsters they are. And so this green guy in his bio writes gang stalker retard, because that's what I called him. And then, he said, you're worse than Zoltanus, but I prefer Zoltanus politically. And I'm just went in his DMs being like, fuck you, because most gang stalkers don't have their DMs open. They have them closed deliberately on purpose. But what do you know? He screen caps that fuck you in the DM to prove a point, just like if I was to block him. And then what I find out is that even 7 months later, here's a picture that he says that, oh, you're owned, and he's just him and his friend, like pictures of it at literally Myrtle Broadway in Bushwick, where I was filming on the Save Sleazy channel, whereabouts of my coordination. And I'm like, oh, that's funny you post that. You must know a lot. And I'm like, what? And it's like, and then he jokes saying he's CIA intel. It's all in my head. And, that's the Stasi man. There's no rational talk about these people. You just got to, it sounds like projection back. And then I check his timeline, and here he is talking about how bad AXA is, as if it's a legitimate movement, and how he created his own meme called MLXAA as an indoor joke. And supposedly this Discord group has been keeping tabs on me, all while gaslighting me like stupid liberal hipsters that like irony to pretend I'm some old person that doesn't get it. And I have the screen caps, luckily, in their chat and what they're writing about. And they don't know the Machine Live show right near this recording's going on at the moment. And no, it's just weird because they play dumb when you're caught red-handed, because then the Green Ray, he puts his Twitter wall or X wall on private immediately because I found out. I mean, this is only a guy with 100 followers. I have 4,700 followers on X and 11K on YouTube, and 3K on YouTube, 11K on TikTok, and 1K on Substack. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm more of a minor league guy than, just another internet citizen that has like at least a decade legacy with this. And honestly, I think these people don't really bother me. It's just more like they want to talk about me as this thing, and they basically slander me and through other people's DM. I know how they work. And Paul Town used to do this. Paul Town would have fans and then tell people who are associated with the person, they go in their DMs, like, hey, do you know Joe Nally? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Joe Nally's gay. Here's a picture of him doing gay things. And it's like, all this is public, right? Like, they think they have the vital euphemism, and this is what they do with the whole thing. You're trying to hide something, aren't you? And I'm like, I'm not hiding anything. I'm real. And this is where the hipster can't enjoy the sincerity of authenticity here. And honestly, I just wish these people were smart and they would just go in my DMs and ask how I am. But instead, they will rate my downfall or whatever it is. They use these words. You notice the words they use? Crash out, bruh, cooked. A very much psychological warfare words that are biasly, you call someone, say, fuck you, you made fun. Oh, that's a crash. Like, they try to regulate the speech, just like introducing the word racism in the text. Well, these are the very people that say that their names are like Revcom, Hitlerian 88, crazy nigga 666. And, this is where I think Adam Waffen orders behind it all. They're the ones calling us crazy and then joking about it. And it's like, yes, they are. So I just thought it was an interesting run-in, and I think it's funny that it caught at the same
Well,
exact time.
How much of it do you think is like these people are psyoped, and how much of it do you think is like these people are actual agents, or do you
I
think
gave
it's
you
like
some screenshots in the Telegram, and you can look at it and see like these people are. Because here's the thing, I can only represent myself formally, being like, okay, this is what actually happened. This is what they think is happening. They think I'm this and that. They think but here's the thing, gang stalkers think their target is always Christian. If they're attacking you or me, they always think we're some mentally, physically retarded, autistic person. Why would you write AXA every day? Why are you so obsessed with Asian women? I'm like, do you understand what John Waters is? Do you get Lydia Lunch? Do you get Jim Goad? It seems like the millennial or Zoomer types do not understand the avant-garde arts of 20, 30 years prior. We have all this technology to represent ourselves, but it becomes this ironic hipster game of
well, they've never heard of Jello by Opera or something, right?
exactly. Yep. Oh yeah. And that's what I'm saying is that maybe it's just old person versus young kid. Maybe I'm getting that age too when you become a father, but it's just like I'm at that point where it's like, hey, if you don't get it, get off. I mean, this is why Safe Sleazy blew up, because I said a indoor joke that normies and liberals wanted to hear, and then they got shocked, being like,
Well,
Pillier's actually a transgressive artist.
I kind of see it. I kind of have mixed feelings on it, and I've talked about this with you, Machine, Penoid, and other people. It's like, do we go back in the trenches and like try to like figure out what the 6'7" meme is, and like speak the lingo, like you a grown ass man, and you
Damn, grown ass
I'm a
man.
crash
Yeah.
out too. I don't even know shit. Like, do we go back and like wear like it's kind of like why liberals wear like how Alex Jones used to say like they wear like different color socks and wear like the funny glasses. They're doing it to disarm younger people to say like, hey, I'm harmless. Hey, I'm one of you. But really, they're actually like psycho, like analysts, like psychological.
Like, don't get me
warfare
wrong. I think these are Antifa. I think like what happened was about 10 years ago, Antifa had an awkward moment that they couldn't stop far right anti-liberal movements. So Antifa became the thing they hate by becoming like Zoltanist, fascist sympathizer, semi-anti-liberals, but
Right.
they're Trojanizing liberalism. So you'll have a trans kid being like, hey, I'm for Mussolini, but I hate pedophilia and gay culture, but I want gay culture only for me. And you're a degenerate for liking porn. So you have this like, I think that is the new Antifa. And I think Sultanis's friends and this Green Ray guy and Crazy Nigga 666 is like literally Antifa. They're keeping a watch.
But they're pretending to be like Adam Waffen or something, but really Adam
Right.
Waffen is just Antifa. That's the thing. People don't understand that. Like,
yeah,
Well,
it's the
we've
old
seen some
meme.
people we've seen some people like this. Like for example, like Orthodox guy and Star Fox and these people, like they're actually doing the same thing. Neurojack. Like Star Fox calls himself Neo Antifa.
I know.
So
They say it out loud. Like that's the funny part. They say it out in the front to make you crazy. That's the gaslighting part that's going on. And they think it's like all this Gramscian metapolitics stuff, when really that's a front. They know Gramscian metapolitics do not work. It's over. Psychological warfare is in. So all they have to do is troll, make you crazy, say nigga, and say things that would contradict themselves as liberals in a conversation and post-left irony. And then these kids are just basically in the suburbs of Ohio and Indiana role playing as like, yeah, it's insane.
And here's what's interesting. Here's what bothers me is like if you're such a master at pranking and being this Antifa or Adam Waffen or whatever you're supposed to be, why wouldn't you do that to the big people, right? Like, why don't you go after the big like psyop guys?
Because
who are, like,
even
leaders of
though
the
they'll
thing
insult,
or whatever.
here's the funny part: Green, whatever 100-follower account with the DMs closed and bizarre handle name, will definitely celebrate Zoltanis over me, but doesn't like Zoltanis. He likes Zoltanis because it's a locale, because it's funny, because these people actually don't believe. They believe in subculture, but they also believe in the same hipster irony of condemnation. Why can't you just be normal, Joe? It's like, what's the point of punk rock then? Well, how come is it that trans kids get the platform, and then if you're a white kid who's just like into Asian art or whatever, doing all these things, and then all of a sudden that's worse? It's still the whole fetish word, calling things racism, and it's just it puts the situation back to de-radicalization and uniform playing and we're all the same. And it's still the anti-white narrative is within the text. It just got more advanced. And people just don't. And I think another thing too, people are afraid to know that there's a human on the other side. And I think, 20 years ago, my friend Fodcam said this perfectly. 20 years ago, the internet had low trust, and outside of the internet had high trust. People then thought the internet was getting more technological advance. So today we have high trust on the internet and low trust outside. But the elite know that, and so they put up all these bots and AI and Instagram model and whatever to confuse you in this mirror maze to realize this high trust being on the internet is actually a part of the plan to basically use all, like, I disrespect anyone who uses the words bra, crash out, cooked, whatever. I can't even remember half the words because I know it's going to change next year. There's going to be a new funny word.
Yeah,
slop.
absolutely, dude. Trash words, trash
Well,
language.
here's the only argument I'll make against you. I would say this, like, if somebody's like 16 to 26 and they're using these words, I think we have to have a little bit of sympathy for them, that they may not be totally retarded. They may just be like caught up in the time, like I used to wear like
most of these guys are 40-year-olds. That's the problem, man.
When they use those words, they're just insecure. That's it. They could just use clear English. I mean, a Japanese or a Chinese wouldn't say that equivalent in those words. It's uniquely an English thing.
Well, like what I like to do, like if I were talking to like a 24-year-old woman and she's like starts using these words like crash out and stuff, and then I just keep like talking normal, and then I'm like, why are you saying bet all the time? Like, what is that about, right? It puts them on the defensive, and a lot of times they'll get really mad at you, right? They'll be like,
because
why
they want accept.
you know
why they all say? Because in this Abraham Maslow pyramid of social hierarchical needs, they want to feel accepted by their peers. But what if we told them there's no such thing as their peers, and it's the state concocting these words in a psychological warfare laboratory, so you don't become original or learn words within clarity and really express yourself or look people in the eye and get your views across. That's it. It's a way to save face, to say, I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life is the mantra of liberalism.
But what I've noticed is if you do like transgressive like art or commentary and you use that language against them, like I learned this from Gypsy Crusader, right? Like Gypsy Crusader saying, see, a lot of people think it's just pure racism, but actually what I think what it is like you use the psychological warfare against the people that it's being used against to point out that they actually don't believe in anything. They're just using like talking points to like offset their accountability, right? Like, for example, like if somebody says, man, you a grown-ass man, what you doing on this app or whatever? It's like, okay, a grown-ass man counter. How many more times are you going to say grown-ass man? What's next? Shut your bitch ass up. Like you just start like fucking with their head because their head's already been fucked with, right? And then when you point it out, they don't really have anything. And then you kind of like embarrassed or shamed them, right?
Yeah, well, they actually have to think the first time because the basis of philosophy and intellectualism is thinking. If you can't think and you just project, then it was never about thinking and growing. It was just about a bourgeois comfort zone.
But audiences do pick up on that, even if they're not fully aware. And I think that's one of the reasons I like TikTok a lot is just because, like, if you're able to actually reach a few people and you're able to put forth like certain art and stuff, people will react subconsciously to it. They won't fully understand what you're getting at, but they'll understand that it's coming from authenticity. And that's how you kind of like know, like, is someone actually curious why you're doing transgressive art, or are they just upset because they know that it's like against them, or something like that. I don't know, but that's what I'm noticing.
But I do think there's a lot of feds. I think you're right. I mean, in this YouTube post Luke Ford space, it's like, for just understanding like these YouTubers who have those live stream channels and all this stuff, you're grateful you have people like Illuminati Tommy going out and calling these things out, while at the same time you have your Jack Talcott's being on Luke Ford and all that, and it just goes by so fast where it's like, what is this? Is this just some Rotten Tomato pseudo debate forum to support Jim Bob and Jay Dyer fan club for Thiel Bucks? Interesting virtual cyberpunk subculture having fun on the new public access TV while we can't grow our brands for the next 10 years.
Well, I think it's like this. It's always been this way and always will be this way. The future lies with the youth, and I think that we should always try to like reach ourselves back out down to the youth and like rap with them. You know, like look here, young man. Like let me talk
Yeah,
to you.
I'm at that
today.
age
You know,
too,
like,
and it's like, what do you do? Do you become like a Jared Taylor and just say everything specific, like both adults and young people going to college, if they do go to college anymore, want to become English literate, and you
well, like
face them
yeah,
away from irony.
like if we're gonna be 80 years old and be like, let me talk to you, 65-year-old man. Let me tell you how things were back in my day. You know, it's like,
Right.
no, you want to talk to the 20-year-old guy and say like, look, like, don't fucking listen to these people. They're fucking you over. You know, like.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting, some of this stuff going down. Let me see here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Or can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, it's really weird because the gang stalkers, they don't block anymore. They private their account because they get nervous, being like, oh, Pill Eater is getting intel now. So gang, you don't bring a bat to a knife fight. You bring a gun to a knife fight, and then what happens is they got to go back and get their guns. So, and I think that's the thing with gang stalkers. It's mutually assured destruction. If you play their game, you play dirty. They don't want to pull down their cards. They're like, yeah, that's true, but you can't say the loud part out loud.
Well, what's weird is like a lot of these guys, they try to act like they have power, but it's apparent that they don't, and that
Right.
they're just like waiting for their turn that's never going to come, which is kind of weird.
Right, and that's
It actually
why
makes me feel bad for them.
that's why this one small account will be like, I found that picture of you at Bushwick. Now I'm making fun of you. I'm like, so you basically go in your bio, right? Gang stalker retard, use pictures of me, make fun of my movements. No, never have I had come with sincere intentions. Then you insult me. It sounds like you're jealous and you're projecting and you're upset because you wish you had this legacy. And that's what drives them crazy because they don't know how to build. They know how to tear down because tearing down is the same of being, I just want to live my best life, right? It's like this. I'll tell you this much. Basil, who's done amazing work exposing the far right pseudo market of Thiel, Mark Lombardi webs. There was a guy who has just like 500 accounts who would, followers who would just go on the X Spaces, right? And this person would be collecting intel on people, and he thought it was okay to get Basil's, where he worked out as a lawyer, and then find his information, and then write death threat emails and say all this bad stuff to him to get him fired, which he did. And then all of a sudden, he only did that not for any movement cause. He did it as a short dopamine hit to feel good to a small community to try to make friends. So it goes back to this Abraham Maslow self-sufficient pyramid of, it's not that this person has a blog or has music or has art. They feel like if I can take down one big person, everyone would give me respect, like I'm the guy in the hood. It's kind of like hood culture entering the internet. And
Yeah, that's exactly what it is for sure.
and it's a dopamine, but here's the funny part. This guy who did that on Basil, he's still at 500 followers and he didn't grow and he's not getting a brand and he thinks the small little dopamine hit is like good enough and he doesn't realize, no, it's a Manchurian candidate for other forces to be like, Basil's a problem. How do we get rid of him? Let's make this little guy who really, really wants to be us, give him some fame and some fake friends, because all these people who think you're friends who only did that to expose Basil is the part that corrupts them the most. They think they'll do it because they want friendship, but they'll never get friendship. And this is why the Abraham Maslow pyramid is so psychosocial important, that so much of this is high school kids trying to belong in a high school rather than political movements and this is what the Teal Box is doing to people.
Well, this is kind of what Pioid wrote an article today or yesterday about like Machiavellianism versus Stoicism, and he's like, the Stoics are bitches because they think that like they're going to make decisions based on pure morality, and it's actually the Machiavellians who make pragmatic, friendships and alliances based on like commonalities and needs to form tribes and things that actually have like lasting power, versus the Stoics And so I think a lot of, and I don't know if I fully buy his argument, but I think the argument that I would relate to you is like, a lot of these people think that they're doing it for some like higher moral cause, but actually they don't know anything about morality or religion or anything. They don't have any actual like higher level values to go. They just kind of say, like the guy said to you, he's like, well, I agree with Zoltanus's like political opinion, whatever that's supposed to mean. It's like, okay, like I want to LARP as a National Socialist Hitler lover. So
Right.
I don't like you because this guy is like pretending to be something that's never going to happen.
And guess what? Even
I
if
like
he
the
had,
aesthetic of it.
here's the funny part: when he had talking behind my back sincere arguments against AXA, his only arguments was Asian men are dysfunctional and will shoot up schools, and two, it's just Brazilianization. And I sincerely commented back. I said, listen, AXA is not Brazilianism. It's clearly Eurasianism. And two, if you hate Asian men, you hate white men. And then he writes back and he says, nigga, I don't care. You're just degenerate. So I
Right.
said,
So,
you're
so wait.
Darwinian.
He's like, nigga, you're degenerate. So he's like performatively acting ghetto and saying,
Yes, to be, and
you're
I
the
said, you're
degenerate.
just, and I just, in just straight words, I'm like, this is what liberal hipsters do. This is what post-left irony is. It tries to save face by satirizing its enemies. Satire is not
Right.
enlightening. They think satire is the Canterbury Tales is the ultimate blow because it's a way to condemn the wrong type of white people against the right type of white people. And they do this in politics because satire means you don't have an argument. Satire means this is how what I think the enemy acts like. Therefore, you shouldn't be. You should condemn the enemy. That's why satire is a weapon used for white people against other wrong types. I think it's Anglo-Saxon. And the only remedy against satire would be farce. Let us suppose there's actually trans people who believe they want to teach kindergarten and they think it's progressive. That isn't satire. It's farce. And it's farce because it's like what Mark Twain would say. Sometimes reality it's stranger than fiction, right? What's stranger is the truth. So when people actually live with this sincerity, like I do with AXA, how could you have Aryanism with white male, Asian female? How could you have virtue ethics with white guys just massively going in Asian men and having your Asian children? This must be a joke, right? And then you say, no. So it's not satire. You're not hating those people. And see, that's why liberalism gets mad. Always satire boils down the argument to say, listen, Pilliter's performing satire because he actually hates Elliot Rodgers and the fetishists. I'm like, no, I don't. That will get you canceled. And that means I'm there. The fingers point at me because it doesn't go with the liberal agenda. You never read Alain Benoit or anything like that. And so that's why they can only make fun of me as farce. Okay? And that's why it always goes back to Chris Chan and Encyclopedia Germanica and the Quickie forums. So that's why it's like this. Two people on the internet are dividing, having an argument. I think it's Poe's law that says then it resolves to calling the opponent a Hitler lover, a Hitlerian, right? Well, I think now we're seeing a second version of Poe's law where it's, well, if this person is sincere with his conviction and not ironic in a meta-narrative, this person must be Chris Chan. He must be wearing a medallion of Sonic Pikachu and having sex with his mom and creating autistic he is autistic. Even though the word autism has been psyoped by places like Hot Topic, where now it's cool to be autistic, right? So again, I think the problem is post-Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta break out of here. So I'll talk to you soon, my friend Pilliter.
All right. You have a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you too,
I'll share the link before I leave, man. And just send me the link. Are you opening the panel up before you go?
Yeah. It's open the whole time. Come by if you guys aren't doing shit.
All right, cool.
Bless.
Cool. We'll do. Cool. Bye.
Yeah, peace, guys.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I have a lot more stuff to talk about too, but we could probably talk about that offline. But
right.
I don't know. I have more to cover too, based on a lot of this. But
yeah, they haven't commented back. I think the gang stalkers got scared and had to retreat, and that's what they're funny. They're a fan club, but they just want to throw eggs and tomatoes at the thing they hate. They think I'm literally, again, it's like hard to shake off these. I don't think they're young people. I just think they're stupid. Like, you realize I'm like I don't want to show my full power level, but like an aristocratic, normal person, but they don't want to believe that. You know, and to me, you have to guess what is being normal. Logging off the internet, which is impossible to do when everybody's supposed to be on the internet. So again, there's no winning with these people.
It's just a way to, and honestly, I didn't realize this until I, reflected on a lot of shit you told me when I first met you. But yeah, it is just a way to basically get you not involved in the conversation, so they can
Exactly.
just, like, fuck people over more.
Dehumanization. Because the winners, the Andrew Tates and the Jay Dyers, and Greg Johnsons, they can have the cock because they can tolerate the blows.
So
you can't go work at Walmart.
I wanted to show you a couple of my little art pieces here and get your official take on as an art critic. I just want to ask for your artistic interpretation of what I did. Okay. Because I've been trying these different psyops and seeing how it goes, and I just want to get your takes on it.
So, right, I touched on this the other day, but I want to be more specific. This is about the incident in Miami with the influencers at the club and what they did. Check this out. To the younger generation, I get you guys are like outraged at being told what to think, what you can and can't say, what you can and can't do. I understand that, right? But there's lines you don't fucking cross when it comes to being cruel, being mean, and being disrespectful to millions of people and countless lives that were lost throughout history. But this is another perspective I want you to think about. Being disrespectful to the other people in the room with you, okay? These guys are alpha males, right? You're supposed to be, you protect women. Were you protecting the well-being of the 21-year-old chick who was at that club, who might have been Jewish, or have Jewish friends, or anybody for that matter? But think about.
Right.
So this is Chet Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, telling men that they're bad for going and playing a Kanye West song at a club because it might hurt somebody's feelings, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, but it's so weird because it's like you look at everyone who's a part of the Andrew Tate Club. It's like I do think it's like the people who are like the Republican faction trying to make sense of what's going on in America. And it's two forces, liberalism versus anti-liberalism. So I get like that way. But I think the majority of people are anti-liberal, where the conclusion of liberalism would be to eat itself.
And just try to get out of the way of it. But people like this are trying to drag you back into it. Like, oh, just stay around, stick around.
Right. So,
from here, guys.
I would say, actually, I will say, it makes me think. Speaking of which, somebody got shot today in Minnesota again. Why? I don't know. Alex Jones makes a comment, and Alex Jones is like, this is all paid for. They got the call. Look at all those people in Minneapolis. Minneapolis collapsed as a city. White people have nothing else better to do than go outside and complain. And I'm like, I wonder if that's like what's happening to white Americans right now. They're just going outside and complaining.
Well, Peter. Well, here's the thing: is like none of them are going to produce children like by meeting women at the protest or something, right? It's just going to be a bunch of cat ladies and gay guys and.
Right. So what does that mean? Does that mean Minneapolis is like doomed, and so there's no jobs and no work, and so the protest is just saved?
Yeah. What's funny is like the Somalians aren't going out and protesting. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Like I got
right.
I got other shit
what does
too.
that tell you about the managerial class? If all your work was just in being in front of the computer, and you go outside being mad at something, then there's nothing being produced. It's the collapsed city. So I think Alex Jones is right. That's what's happening. If the city is collapsing, but it tries to save face saying this is a rightful protest because nothing is being produced anymore. It's a weird type of socialism.
Well,
like
a bunch of cat ladies, you are the product. Cat ladies are being produced at record rates. So that's
interesting.
I want to get your interpretation of this. Give me your artistic opinion on this video.
Banger. The bitch is too drunk. Banger. I ain't no punk nigga. I'm a banger. Jenny. I'ma bang that bitch. Vanessa. I'ma bang that bitch. Whitney. I'ma bang that bitch. I ain't no punk. I'ma bang that bitch.
Hey short, you know what's up. Last night at the club I was trying to fuck. Seen a bitch with a big old butt. Took her to the bathroom to bust a nut.
If you know she wanna fuck.
Here's the funny part. I like this. No, I just think it's funny is that, I mean, this is a cliche as it sounds. They're like normalizing, see a girl in the club, rape her. That's totally fine, guys. That's masculine. That's normal. That's what you do. Even though if a white guy was to do it, that's date rape. It's not date rape if a black guy does it. You notice that if you go in Bushwick at Mood Ring and Rash Bar, it says report date rape. But if a black guy were to do it at a black club, that's totally fine. You just take a woman, you rape her in the bathroom. That's just what men do. And you shouldn't be crying over it, looking for love, because she's just a bitch. So
Well, and this and you notice I put like it's like the meme of like a blue-haired lesbian holding a brain saying no thanks, I'm liberal, right? So it's like
right. So
that's
it's
the
like
background.
there's racial confusion between the eclectic confusion between consent culture. Do you think blacks consent? May I take you to the bathroom to rape you? Or they just do
Hello,
it because of
madam.
science?
Would you like to do some cocaine and go into the restroom with me for a little
Nobody,
romp?
they're thinking white people do that. And I'm like, no, you read, it's Ruth said this, you read by body signs and you just do it. If you walk this line, you sign a small disclosure act that anything can happen to you. You can't sue anyone for it. And they set up law like that. And that's why it's like a dark rape machine. All these women are going in, like, this is what it means to be a woman. So if I'm a man, a white man, I write a rap song about treating women as objects to rape and murdering them. Now I'm the problematic one, but not the black guy. And you're even more problematic. You must be a nerd in someone's basement if you write how much you love Asian women. The double standard is so high. God,
So
funny.
I'll show you this really briefly. Help! I married a white supremacist.
Okay.
Unpacking MAGA's Asian fetish.
That's funny. Did they cite us?
No, but this is the one this is the one I wrote the response to before even reading it, and actually my response is really good now that
I just think it's funny that these liberal agents have been around for a decade and they never cited me, the mastermind behind it. I just think that's really peculiar. Is it because I have airtight arguments?
Well, that's why I want you to publish this with me if you want. Like, read it first. I'm going to publish it on my own. And then if you want to, just republish it. No. Stop, dude. Chill.
Right.
You know, so it's like, okay, so it says if we look at the world population's review map of gender equality by country, we can see that it has some correlations with the passport bro world map. So they say like this is where men are trying to figure out like where can I actually find a woman who's actually wants to get married and have children. And they say, well, like this is just men trying to figure out where women are vulnerable. And then this is the part I wanted to show you. It says there's a reason why Iceland, Norway, and Finland aren't passport bro hotspots. It's in places where gender equality is valued and women are well educated and financially independent. It's harder to manipulate women into becoming your stay-at-home maids. So there's a couple things going on here, right? Like if you look at Scandinavian culture, like hookup culture is rampant in Scandinavia, right? So why wouldn't it be on the top of the list? Because actually it's much easier to just sleep around in Scandinavia. But the problem is not that they want to sleep around. See, you can go and just have sex with hundreds of women. That's not a problem, as long as there's consent. The problem is that you want to have children and build a relationship with them. That's the
destruction of society. And it's just like you're saying. Well, the funny part about hookup culture is that it's very similar to it's basically gay culture for straight people and gay people. And there's a lot of serial killers that came from gay hookup culture. And there's more incentives in hookup culture where if you know you're finding a woman, you're objectifying her, you're going to get your dick sucked or have sex with her unprotected, you know, and you won't see her tomorrow or next week, you therefore have the right to treat her as an object to rape. This is what Andrea Dworkin writes about. So why in the world is this rape logic being espoused by the very liberal system of sexual liberation and freedom, and that this is a woman's choice to get violently abused by a white man that they like and never see him again? It's almost as if this is like Eyes Wide Shut. Even more crazy, and a part of the gay bathhouse culture, is if you take tabs on the woman that you had sex with. Now that's considered stalking, even though you both consented to rape each other. And then the woman gets PTSD and she's like, I had sex with 30 different men. What's going on here?
She's like, I don't even remember your name because I had sex with so many men.
And now I have PTSD that I can't solve, and I hate the world, and I'm depressed, and I don't
But
remember
see-
having sex with you.
But see, this
even
is
though it
what's
was
weird. Is
rape.
like a lot of these accounts that are promoting this ideology, they say, well, consent can be revoked at any time, including after the fact. And so it's like,
then there's no
so basically-
consent.
Right, exactly. And so I asked them, was like, can you define it? And they say, well, it has to be an enthusiastic yes. And I'm like, well, aren't you implying that they can revoke it 10 years or 15 or 20 or 30 years later then? It's like, and they're
Yeah,
like, well,
when you-
yes. And I'm like, well, then
They
haven't
call
you
rape.
collapsed the meaning of the word consent by saying that?
That's
and of
Andrew
course they
Dorfman.
say, you're dangerous. And I'm like, why am I dangerous for pointing out an obvious problem in your logic, right? Like, I'm trying to tell you, like,
so
the
it's like,
logic
why
doesn't
is it
add up.
okay now and not okay for your future? It's like you could think in the present, but not okay. Why is everyone a cat lady? Well, it's because you promoted rape culture. I mean, again, Andrea Dorkin. It's pretty much under your nose.
So that's
going
what's
on.
weird is she quotes Andrea Dworkin. She says, as Andrea Dworkin notes in her book, right wing women who choose relationships with right wing men often do so out of self preservation. Okay, listen to this very interesting wording here. I went over this yesterday with
Yeah,
Machine.
the Dorkin stuff. I got Pornography by Dorkin. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, right wing women is super fascinating because she's trying to understand if you have a subculture of right wing people, why do women like if white nationalists were to win tomorrow? How would you tell women to support white nationalists? It's a really good study, especially by a fat Jewish woman. But
Well, but that's what's weird about it. So listen to this language: from father's house to husband's house to a grave that still might not be her own. So it's like it goes back to proprietarianism. Like you own your own grave, so therefore you're a real person or something. It's like, what the fuck? Like I'm not
Right.
alive. Who cares, right? Like
exactly. You're dead. And
like-
that's the
it's
Buddhist
like-
point. Buddhist,
right.
if you're dead, you don't own anything. That's why the
Right.
material world's fake.
And then it's like so it's like pure materialist, like literally like your economic unit. Anyways, a woman acquiesces. So acquiesce implies consent. Am I wrong about that? Like if you're acquiescing, it implies consent, right? Like
right, signs.
Right. To male authority to gain some protection from male violence. Okay, so it's like so it's basically saying like male biology has violence in it, therefore all women are victims by the attributes of being a male. So it's like, okay, so like all women are automatically victims of male violence just because they're a woman. It's like,
but here's the weird part in pornography. Here's the weird part. Dorkin she claims all pornography is a manifestation of violence. But why do women do it? Well, it must be so that women think or believe, violence is sexual attraction. And women can't, smart women can't, because 9 times out of 10, women like violence and they're okay with that. And Dorkin's trying to figure that out is the reason why. But if you follow that line of logic, then it's like, that's true. Women are attracted to violence, and then rape is an act of violence as well, and therefore they must like rape.
well, that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say, well, women's nature needs to be gatekept because it puts them in danger. But one, we don't want to give them accountability for that. Two, we want to put all responsibility on men to like neuter themselves to protect women. Three, I mean, it's literally like, and that's why like my article, I wrote it without reading this article, and like I actually feel bad because I totally crushed this article into like a million pieces because this article is literally retarded. Like it literally is arguing like women are only economic units, women have zero agency, women are retarded, lower than animal beings that have no agency in like any decision. I mean, it's like it's literally insulting to women, particularly Asian women. It's like Asian women are just economic units, and if you treat them any differently, then you're an evil fascist right wing Nazi, and you need to accept.
But here's the thing in dialectic materialism: if everybody is just a materialistic and there's no spiritual idealism behind it, well, then obviously their morality is those who have more Asian women, and it's like, well, this is why they do gynocracy, is because if you had the supply and power over demand, then it cuts off rational demands in favor of bad demands. Like I remember getting in an X conversation, somebody said, look, female hypergamy on the top, and the top guy's like, yeah, I want to punch Nazis, and therefore all the girls like, it was a joke. But I wrote, no, you're conflating female hypergamy with evolutionary psychology. You think that, in evolutionary psychology, the women are going to rank the alpha male, but the alpha male isn't someone to liberal authority because women don't find that. And so the people, this stupid Spanish whatever wigger kid was like, I bet you get no bitches. And then I write back, I'm like, okay, you say I get no bitches, but you look like an intimidating rapist who's okay with punching nappies to get to women. And this is like the Pinoid Machiavellianism. Another account comes in of a Palestinian halfway woman. I think this guy's right. He should punch Nazis because I said so. I'm like, no, but so that means you just hate white men and those who are stronger and virtuous. It's all just brown chaos at that point. And people agreed with me when I showed it on X. But I just think it's weird that women are controlling men, so men backstab each other over women's irrational interest of not liking big, evil, mean, authoritarian things, but men are willing to die to make themselves gay. It seems like no, that's irrational. Men should desire what they're the man, they should get the supply. And this is what happens when you don't control the women, you create a declining society.
Well, that's kind of what they're trying to gatekeep us. They're trying to gatekeep us and say, like, just stop trying your evil Nazi PDF, whatever. It's like, and that's why I made this
they get
video.
really upset when you get the Asian wife. I noticed this too. They get really upset, like almost in disbelief. How can you have an Asian wife? And they always frame the argument as you're a loser every time. You're a loser when you're a teenager. You're a loser in your 20s. You're a loser in your 30s. And it doesn't matter what form you take, you're always a loser. But if you're a guy in your 20s with an Asian wife and you break the system, you're still a loser with a fetish. There's
And
no
you have
way.
kids. And even if you were a kid and a millionaire and a celebrity and everything, you're still a loser because you had to go outside your race. And it's like, okay, Nazi.
It doesn't matter because this is where I believe in the Marxist concept that time is a flat circle. They deliberately installed these psyops knowing if you're young or old, it will always remain the same just so we gatekeep you from the grass being greener on the other side. And if you do reach the grass is greener underside without our watch, we're going to make sure to ruin it for you and say it's some weird. And I think this is the scapegoat. This is the Girardian scapegoat and it just makes me question the liberal system as a whole. And I wrote this on X. I wrote, listen, hatred for liberalism is a commitment to humanity, meaning that it seems like if you try to make everyone have free will decisions, then everybody's going to tear each other down because they can't have what they want. It's a form of mass jealousy. And instead of helping others get what they want, like true socialism, National Socialism argues, you just have people who are conflating others to work for people higher than them. And this is what's killing whites in the end.
Well, I hate to say it, but the damage is so far done.
Right.
That, like, I hate to say it, but like the ship of Western civilization has already sailed and it's not coming back. Like,
well, the good news is that I hope it's Asiatic. That's what I'm rooting for, and that's what I see the project. They don't see it now, but perhaps in 20 years they will. I started the work 10 years ago, but maybe 20 years, 30 years on the line, they'll probably see us for who we are and the hard work we put in to warn people back in the 2010s or 2020s to be like, it's 2050 now. We told you white male, Asian female was the future. You have your Asian kids in their 20s. Now what are you going to do? And that's just with the whole Asian thing. They'll never cite us. And I always think it's hilarious that these people will not, because our arguments are airtight or, and then when we look to be in the dialogue, they call us narcissists for having pride in our work. It's insane. It's like, what's his name? Goth Daddy? I've been watching this guy, the John.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
I started watching Goth Daddy. I'm like, okay, what's the guy dressed up in goth attire gonna say? Does he have valid arguments? Well, I mean, he says these corny arguments. One of his corny arguments is the left has narcissism because out of this sort of psychology, you never told them no as a kid. But it's like, wait a second. I mean, whatever you define left or right, regardless of values, let's just say it's liberal or sameness. I wouldn't say the enemy is narcissism. That's a little Christian, because here's the thing, it's just like gaslighting or mental health, right? If you take pride in something, if you know you're right in the argument, or if you're like Andrew Tate, that doesn't make you a narcissist. It makes you right. So a narcissist is someone that doesn't have empathy and doesn't like is self-centered and thinks only about the self in a Machiavellian terms, right?
Yeah, it's
They're using the word wrong. They're saying anyone who has pride or is confident, it's like Dunning-Kruger. It must be a narcissist. And I'm like, yeah, that's where it gets very vague because I don't think our enemies are narcissists. That's a little silly because you're just trying to tear down others when they have success.
yeah. Well, that's what I noticed is like that's why I don't think I've ever used the word narcissist like
right
ever in a
Can
conversation.
I tell you something? They use narcissists. The gang stalkers called me a narcissist. That's the funny part. Why? Because I have a brand name, because I'm pill eater, because I have this funny, facetious KMFDM-esque ideal of identity politics and Church of Subgenius idealism. That's not narcissism. And what do they imply? If okay, then what's the opposite of narcissism? Empathy, be at your level, tear you down, so I'm stupid as you. That's what they want, and that's the ideology of sameness. They get scared when you have pride because you're going to control things. So you might as well be grateful for your trans overlords.
Well, that's what I noticed. So I sent you this video, and like I know you've been watching a lot of them, but it's like it's crazy shit, dude. It's
Oh, I
like,
sent you some crazy stuff on X too. I don't know if you sent that. I just sent this one where it was like, there's a thing. It says "Make Iran Persian Again," and the account is by a Persian porn actress in SF. And I'm like, what? So you're telling me the Jason Giorgiani types are basically Persian porn actress women in SF for some mistress brothel, and they just want to make Persia Iran again in a MAGA-like term? It all makes sense now.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what me and Machine have been talking about behind the scenes. It's like it's literally like this weird
lefty,
Discordian leftism, something or another.
Using racial now. Okay, so the Persian MILF porn actress in SF having sex with all the tech guys, she can make a racial 1488 line of making Iran Persian again and having sex with the nice white guys. But if the Asian girl dare say AXA, whoa, no. Yeah, I just think it's just so weird. Like people don't put the pieces together to realize that like in the adult industry is the same as the liberal industry, right?
Well, and they don't realize that the whole alt-right was against white people the entire fucking time. That's the problem.
Right. Well, no, because the alt-right believed in an alternative to the Republican establishment, which meant right-wing as an intersectionality. It was right-wing intersectionality. Anyone who was anti-liberal was therefore alt-right, alternative right. And that could have meant multipolarity and supporting North Korean governments or something like that. And it just meant in value system, but you can't be, here's the thing, it makes you a liberal for believing there's an intersectionality against liberalism, if that makes any sense. It's a self-defeater.
Let me show you this really quick.
Yep.
People. They don't sugarcoat it. They don't have baby fever. They're like, I am fully aware that every action that I do with this little human will make a huge impact on them. They're fully aware of how much effort, how much time, how much money will take to sufficiently raise this little human being. And I'm going to toot my own horn for a second. I know that I would make a great parent, but I know that it would kill me. I know that I would be bending over backwards to make sure that my kid has an incredible life to the best of my ability, and it would kill me. For reference, I plan my weekends around my dog. Oh, gotta fit a walk in. Oh, gotta make sure I schedule things right. Imagine I had a child. I know that having a child would be essentially giving away my entire life.
Yeah, that's the fucking point.
I know that my life would no longer belong to me, which is sad, isn't it? Because the people who are thinking this through would probably make the best parents.
It's funny because she's really determining this Peter Singer ethics. Like, but my life is more important. It's like you can still have a life and have a kid. Blacks do it all the time. They have kids here, and there. And then, like, whether you take care of it or not, there's conflating care with losing freedom. You have just as much as freedom taking care of your child as you do being you. It's just that you become, I don't know, the teacher and professor to your own biological children. It's not
But
that you own them. Right.
She's like, I identify as a fur mama, but if I identified as an actual mama, that would destroy me. It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's like glitch in the computer. Another thing too, I think it's really bizarre is that there's some of these people who think they own their children, right? And so it's like, I own you. And so this ideal of property under liberalism, they can own a dog, but you really can't own a human being. You conceive of a whole human being, and you can be a guardian for a human, but you don't own it. And this is what's making them feel that when they have a child, they think like, because I can't control the child and because I have to sacrifice it to be the best, it's not for me because I can't control it, which means I can't own it. And that's so bizarre because for all the guys who knocked up women, never seeing them again, or some Irish guy from Chicago who knocks up a Japanese woman and now she's like in the highest position of the Japanese government, that's a good for society. So what these people do not understand is that life is a gift, not a privilege. They think life is a privilege. All you have to do is tell them those lines and they break down. Like life's not a. I was like, do you know the difference between a privilege and a gift? You think life is a privilege? Well, no, life's a gift.
And see, here's the thing: is why would someone tell you it's a privilege rather than a gift? Only somebody who wants to manipulate and destroy you would tell you such a thing.
Right, or own you, pretty much. They say, oh, if I have children, I own them. Well, those children are going to be dysfunctional because they're going to have the helicopter person. Because again, you don't own a life. You know, you conceive of someone's life, and that's it. That you have a child. That's not your responsibility. The only responsibility you have is just to make sure the symbolism of what a father is, and to make sure the basic necessities of teaching them what is right, what is wrong. And because if you're not doing it, somebody else will. And if you're not a good teacher, well, somebody else will become the teacher surrogate. Somebody else will become the Socrates to the Alcibiades. So that's why being a teacher is so important. It's a part of, it doesn't mean you own anything. It means like what you know, welderism, philosophy, the wisdom of the world. If your wisdom is literally this egalitarian, do-it-yourself, autonomous, anarchist, it destroys, it flat out, it's basically an African society with polygamy everywhere.
Right, and at least if it was polygamy that was like pro-life and pro-like relationships, it would be one thing. But it's like
it's not that polygamy. It's not the right kind of. It's the wrong type of polygamy. It's a polygamy where it's in a hostile environment. You can't trust the women. There's nobody around. It's like African, like genocidal African polygamy. And I just think that African mentality has entered the United States under deracination. And what Emil Durkheim saw is the fall of capitalism.
Yeah, I hear you. I want to continue this, but I have to do some stuff before it's too late. If you don't mind, I'll call you. I gotta.
Yeah, call me then. All right. Talk to you then.
All right, cool. Bye.